my role as a tutor for ECD students from across the world, I often introduce words. Observations, when we do observations, we will refer to a child as securely attached. When we are interpreting an observation, we may say that this child may struggle with an auditory processing challenge. And when we are training our staff, we will include terms and words such as active listening. But do we really spend enough time to really understand what these words mean and how these words will look different in a 1-year-old class versus a 4-year-old class? In this new series, ECD Dictionary, we are going to go through the alphabet and explore what these different words mean and how they manifest in the different age groups. In episode A, we are going to look at 3 terms: active listening, attachment, and auditory processing. Obviously, there are many more words starting with an A within the ECD Dictionary. Now, let's look at active listening. What's the definition of active listening? It is being present, fully present, listening and hearing, taking enough time to pause and respect the child's attempt to communicate. Those attempts may be babbling as a baby, using simple words as a toddler, or just pointing or just gestures, but laying the foundation for an active communication process where the child is being taught that there's a serve and return process involved in communication. So active listening is not only about listening and hearing, it is about taking time to respond, taking time to allow the child to be part of the communication process. Now, what does it look like in the different age groups? In the 0 to 2-year-old age group, the baby may just babble or use gestures or point to really start the communication process, and that is serving. Now, what will the active listening process look like as a baby, as working within the baby class? You will pause. You will teach the child that I'm listening, that I'm waiting for you to finish and complete your serving before I respond. Serve, return. Before I return, whatever you served me, I will wait and allow you time to finish before I respond. Now, this will teach the child that every coo, every pointing at an object, and every attempt to communicate deserves an unhurried response from an adult. And we should resist filling every moment of silence and leave space for children to return what we serve in return. So children need to learn that communication is a two-way process. Now, what does this process look like in the 2 to 3-year-old classroom? A toddler may use only a handful of words or behavior to communicate a need or a feeling, and the adult needs to get down to their level rather than responding from a standing height. And the strategy that we can use here is to narrate and reflect rather than just a question. So instead of saying, "What is wrong?" we can say, "You wanted the red cup and I gave you the blue cup." Naming the feeling accurately, even using limited language, that will build the children's vocabulary faster, and also it will open up the open-ended questioning that the toddlers need from us at this stage. 3 to 5 years, a child will recount an event with detail and emotion at this age, and the adult should listen through to the end without interrupting and without problem solving or fixing tenses or incorrect pronunciation. We need to use reflective phrases before offering solutions at this age. And an example is, so first this happened and then that made you feel happy. And let the child confirm or correct you, because in the end, it is the child that is serving you with a fact from his or her life. Now, this models that the account matters and that it's worth getting it right, and that you are actively responding to what they are saying. Attachment, our second word for today. The definition of attachment is the emotional bond a child forms with a primary caregiver, which becomes the child's internal template for safety, trust, and relationships, future relationships. So it is that internal mode of operation that we are built. It's what the child falls back onto when a child has a secure attachment. In the early childhood development setting, this extends to the bond formed with a key person as well. So it's not only the bond between the mother or the child, or the father and the child. Now, why does attachment matter? A securely attached child uses the adult as a secure base to come and check into, to just make eye contact with the adult, just to know and get that confirmation that it's okay, I can explore the world and learn. And whenever they need, they will just check on this adult and check in with this adult. This isn't just an emotional, secure bond that the child is forming. It is the foundation for the confidence to explore, to try, to make mistakes, and to try again, which is the engine of all early learning. Now, what will this look like in the 0 to 2-year-old age group? A baby seeks proximity to try and keep very close to the key person, and they may be upset and show separation anxiety, and the baby will also settle more easily when a familiar adult is present. Now, a consistent key person assignment to a baby really matters. It's enormously important in a child's life. The same adult for nappy changing, feeding and settling in whenever possible. So the child has one predictable attachment figure within the setting. In the 2 to 3-year-old age group, a toddler uses the key adult as a secure base still, because that's what it's all about. Checking in during play, seeking comfort after a fall, testing boundaries to see, can I try this out? Is this a risk that I'm allowed to take? And the strategy that we can follow as ECD practitioners working in a 2 to 3-year-old age group: stay physically and emotionally available during independent play, even without direct involvement. You don't need to be involved in the play to be present. A toddler often just needs to glance over and see that you are there and taking in what they are doing. In the 3 to 5-year-old age group, a child with secure attachment can separate more easily, and they can self-soothe and use strategies modeled by the adult. And they will be able to form more secure early friendships with more confidence, because they will have a better self-confidence and self-esteem. The strategy that we as practitioners can use is to use attachment as a springboard for peer relationships, where we can narrate what secure relationships look like. You may say, I noticed you checked that your friend was okay after the game got rough. To extend the template beyond the child adult bond. And remember, the template that I'm referring to is that frame of reference where the child knows that there's a secure adult close by, so I'm safe to explore, and I'm secure to explore the world around me. Let's look at our last term for today: auditory processing. What is the definition of auditory processing? Auditory processing is the brain's ability to interpret and make sense of what the ears are hearing. It's distinguishing sounds, following instructions, filtering out background noise, and connecting sounds to a meaning. It's separate from hearing itself. A child may be able to hear perfectly, but may still struggle to process what they hear. They may struggle to follow instructions. They may struggle to hear the difference between cat and bat. Now, auditory processing matters because it underpins a child's ability to follow instructions, the learning of phonics, and especially during group activities where it can really be noisy. Now, I want you to think of your classroom and just think of the noise sometimes in your classroom. There may be a song playing, children may be playing and talking, some may be crying, and adults are also talking. So the brain must develop the ability to filter these sounds and not respond to every sound in the same way that what they hear. So the ears and the brain must develop that filtering system, the ability where the child knows when to respond and how to respond to a certain sound. So what does it look like in the different age groups? So let's have a look at the 0 to 2 year old age group. Now, a baby may turn the head towards noises, to voices. They may get a fright at a sudden noise or a sound, and they will start to respond differently to different noises. Calm sounds will have a calming effect on children. Loud noise will upset children in this age group. And then what are the strategies that we can use in this age group as early years practitioners? We can reduce background noise during key interaction time with the babies, during feeding, nappy changing, and especially during settling in. And that will help the baby to develop an auditory system that is not competing with all of the other noises that the ears are sending to the brain. So it will allow children and babies in this age group to develop that filtering system that I referred to. In the age group 2 to 3, a toddler will start to follow one-step instructions reasonably well for their age group, and then in quieter setting, in times where it's not so noisy, they may start to follow these instructions easier. And also when it's more noisy, they may start to ignore some of the instructions because they are still developing the filter system. Now, what is a strategy that you can use as an early years practitioner in this age group? Get close to the child, make eye contact, and give one instruction at a time rather than multiple instructions. And focus on simple words like shoes on rather than get your shoes and coat and come to the door. Start off by saying shoes on, And when you see that the child has put the shoes on, then you would say, coat on now. And then you will add, come to the door, let's go. 3 to 5 year olds, what will that look like? A child will start to manage instructions and in a quiet one-to-one setting, but the child may also show signs that they are losing the instructions during group time. That is a indication that the child is still developing auditory processing skills, or that they may struggle with auditory processing skills. So we can ask for frequent repetition from the people talking to the child, so that the child has multiple opportunities to process what we are telling the child. And another strategy that we can follow is that we can pair verbal instructions with a visual or a gesture. So give the child a cue. And check understanding by asking the child to repeat the instructions or the phonic that we have said back in their own words or what they have heard. And then when the child is really struggling, this is then a processing barrier that we can flag during our observations, and obviously refer for early intervention, or then for somebody to observe more carefully. This is not necessarily an indication that the child struggles from an auditory processing disorder. It is only an indication that the child is still developing auditory processing skills, and in some cases may need some support from us, the early years practitioners. Like and subscribe to not miss episode B, where we will look at words starting with AB. Please leave me your comments and suggestions. Maybe you have a strategy that we can use for active listening, where we can look at attachment strategies, and then also where we can support children with auditory processing. See you next time.